Okay, hey everybody, I'm Buster Green, and unfortunately, we have yet another Maya Gate update. So, continuing the story, going into Thursday, there was really no new news at first, with people just to continue the ongoing debate of whether or not Maya was innocent or guilty, and what are the full details of exactly what happened, what is real, what is fake, what's a lie, and despite all that, beyond all that, we had some people taking away wild takes that she should either be blamed for single-handedly ruling Gojuger and Super Sentai as a whole, but there was also a counter group that arguing that Maya needs to be left alone and Seju was really at fault for pulling her contract and starting the chain of dominoes moving. Now, ironically, on a day that had no news, mostly no news, Seju decided to make the news about themselves. Now, supposedly this wasn't out of nowhere, as I'm hearing that there were some bad actors on the Japan side making some negative DMs and some death threats at Seju. And potentially I'm hearing rumors that another one of their girls was involved in another scandal, but I know nothing of the exact details there. But anyway, though, it mostly seemed to be a hard criticism of Seju due to them changing their story so much. And after the Yahoo News debate, it became a big controversial topic if anyone could actually prove dead to rights that Maya actually engaged in underage drinking. And so everyone started to shift the blame onto Seju for their strange behavior, their constant changing stories, and not protecting Maya when they had the chance, which ironically got Seju to put out another statement that says they will have zero tolerance for anyone criticizing them as a company, and they will punish anyone who criticizes them to the full extent of the law. Here is an English translation, thanks to rangerboard.com. I'm going to go over this real fast. So yeah, warning regarding measures against defamatory and slanderous acts against Seju and its affiliated talent. We sincerely appreciate your continued support of Seju and our affiliated talents. We have confirmed that our affiliated talents have been subject to slanderous and libelous comments that have severely damaged their reputation via internet message boards, social media, and DMs to the talent themselves. These acts not only interfere with the talent's activities, but it is also extremely malicious behavior that causes serious physical and mental harm, and it is absolutely unacceptable. We have already documented the problematic posts and DMs and are preparing legal proceedings, including requests for disclosure of senders' information. Furthermore, we intend to take all possible legal measures, including claims of damages and filing criminal charges. If similar behavior is confirmed in the future, we will take immediate legal action, regardless of the reason. We will continue to take a firm stance and act decisively to protect the environment in which our affiliated talent can work with peace of mind. Thank you, Seju. Okay. This was, tone deaf to say the least, and it kind of made the internet burst out laughing like, what the fuck? After all this, after everything that's happened, after they did nothing to protect Maya, they're now acting like this when it's come back around on them. So a lot of people were pointing out that this seems like a Hippocratic act. Anyway, then a lot of people were pointing out that since Seju didn't protect Maya from trolls in the first place, that was the butterfly effect, that was the domino, the first domino that led us to everything that's happened up to this point.
この番組はヨランのスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Anyway, meanwhile, beyond all that, whatever has happened and past all that, we're back to the present, and in the present, things are still screwed up today too. So after that, next thing on the story is we have some industry news out of Toei, and Toei has analyzed the situation and have put out a report, or maybe this is just like rumors leaking out about what's going on at Toei, but this report is purely financial and what's going on regarding the scandal from a financial point of view. So the new perspective here, once again, is that this is an unprecedented disaster, never before witnessed in human history, but it's also a financial disaster. So speaking of domino effects, the Maya Gate scandal, the physical act of removing Maya from these last 12 episodes of Gojuger, is becoming a Herculean, almost impossible effort that is looking like it's going to waste billions, if not even trillions of Toei's money, which justifies why Toei is so pissed and why they would want to sue Seju back for the lost revenue of having to refilm these episodes. Now, everyone's saying that canceling the show would have been cheaper than this, and yeah, it probably would have been, but Toei couldn't cancel the show because they still owe those last 12 episodes to deliver to TV ASI, and I guess if they didn't deliver anything, they'd be out a bunch of money doing that. But they're out a bunch of money either way because according to this report, in this week alone, Toei has spent over 5 billion yen in the reshoots for episode 38 of Gojuger, and some And there's some math speculation on the fan side that if they spent that much just redoing 38, they're probably going to need to spend upwards of $600 billion or 600 billion yen to completely redo those last 12 episodes. And apparently they've reshot enough that they put out a press release explaining that in the new 38, they will recast Sumino and there will be a new black unicorn revealed in episode 38. So I'm standing by to see what happens there because that's interesting. It's sounding like it won't be her sister, though, as previously speculated. So whoever it is, it's going to be an even crazier situation. But it does feel like this is overall another story where the scandal is just causing damage to everyone involved in it on like every single level. That kid Self, I'm hearing that they're going to replace her in the next episode. It sounds like they're just going to replace her with a different actress and act like nothing happened and try to do that as smoothly as possible. So I'm waiting to see exactly how episode 38 plays out. Anyway, I guess they're now recasting another actress as Black Unicorn. But yeah, so then there's more financial news about this, like exactly what's going on at Toei. So apparently, on top of the loss in revenue for the reshoots, they're also losing a lot of revenue in merch because all of the merch of Mai Imamori with her face on it has to be destroyed. They can no longer legally produce that or sell that. So it's estimated that Toei also spent 5 billion yen to buy back the cost of their own merch to destroy it. So once again, if you have any desire to own any Maya Imamori merch, it's now or never because it sounds like they're all throwing it in a dumpster and setting it on fire. Tiffany chimes in, I wouldn't be surprised if the money and the budget of the other shows like Kamen Rider and Precure is going to go down as a result. Yeah, that definitely does seem to be the case. Anyway, this financial report has even more information about how bad this is for Toei. It sounds like this is really just the start of Toei losing money on this, and there might even be more money lost going forward, because there's a really interesting report that typically about 50% of all the Super Sentai merch that is made every year is actually sold over the Christmas holiday as Christmas presents for like small children, you know? But likely with Gojuger being so screwed up and people being so depressed about it, there's some big concern that as the scandal keeps playing out, like who's going to want to buy like Christmas gifts when the show is like so tainted like this? Like there's some concern that if the scandal keeps growing in like its prevalence and like people knowing about it, and the next batch of episodes are as bad as episode 37 was with like the cheap editing and the mangled story, then we could really be seeing like the full collapse of Super Sentai this year with everything playing out. And people are super polarized on this, and there's also people who are still like trying to boycott Super Sentai because, you know, they want to punish Toei for Maya's action, which is ironic because there's also people on the opposite side of the fence. I'm hearing flip side because those people are also boycotting the show because they're mad about Maya's removal, which is fair. The show kind of sucks without her. But ironically, this is kind of a both sides are wrong argument with everyone boycotting the same companies for different reasons. So the damage is just ultimately compounding. Anyway, next thing that people are wondering about is there's further crazy speculation that because Mayagate is so insane, Gojuger might not be able to be released on DVD and Blu-ray. So I'm sounding an alarm about this right now that if you like the show and you like what you've seen up to now, you might want to hold on to whatever version of it you currently have, because it sounds like the show is in serious danger of becoming lost media. So breaking this down, the first Blu-ray set of Gojuger came out in September when everything was fine, and that contained the first 12 episodes, and it cost $170 because that's the crazy price of Japanese home media prices, because Japanese DVD prices are just insane like that. Now the next volume Blu-ray Collection 2 is set to come out in about 2 weeks on December 1st, and this next set is supposed to contain episodes 13 through 24, but now people are laser focused on this to see if it actually comes out as promised or not, because Maya would be in it. And a lot of people are wondering, wouldn't that be a violation of the law? Like, people are strongly debating it if they can release this Blu-ray collection, because that would technically be a new product featuring Maya. Even if it is a collection of old episodes, it would still be in violation of the termination clause with Seju. So there is a very strong chance that because of the Maya scandal, only the first 12 episodes of Gojuger will ever be released to the public on Blu-ray. Now, I mean, technically they can release all the episodes after 37, like any of these new episodes that they're reshooting now. But I mean, is anyone going to actually want to collect this show when there's such a big hole missing out of the middle of it? And again, I have to point out that the cost for buying just one of these Blu-ray sets in Japan with only 12 episodes is $170. So that was always going to be something for like the diehard fans anyway. But so a lot of people are wondering what the hell is all this, if Toei might still need to go back and edit these shows reruns to delete Maya from the entire show to release it on Blu-ray. And so that's another mystery factor that people are paying attention to now. But yeah, so there's even more estimates that Maya-gate is still an unprecedented financial disaster, and it might end up costing Toei somewhere in the neighborhood of 900 billion yen, almost $1 trillion when all the dust is settled, because of how many aspects of the pipeline of the toy company, of the TV company, of all these different companies are being single-handedly affected by ripping Maya out of the show. When the dust is settled, not only is Maya-gate a bad look, it's a disgusting financial disaster as well. So once again, it's becoming more and more apparent all the reasons that Gojuger will unfortunately be the last Super Sentai, because while there was an argument before this that the return on investment from Super Sentai has been declining year by year, with some people blaming that by extension on Japan's declining childbirth problem, or just the fact that kids nowadays prefer video games to toys. Kids don't buy toys like they used to. The Maya-gate scandal, at the end of the day, has basically accelerated the financial losses at Toei related to Super Sentai, and it seems to be an unprecedented financial disaster, as well as the previous stated personal and psychological disasters of how the show itself has been damaged. So whatever the final fate of Maya, whatever the final fate of Seju, whatever happens to Toei and all the other parties involved, I'm not blaming the end of Sentai on Maya, but it does feel like Sentai ending in this final worst case scenario is directly related to the way this scandal is playing out, draining the company of their money. All right, I guess that's all for me. I'm Mr. Green. I'm signing off. This continues to be crazy. I don't think I'm going to put a video up tomorrow, but I will probably come back on Sunday after episode 38 airs, because I'm wondering if they will finally replace Maya in that episode, or if there's just going to be further weird distortions like in episode 37.